So just an update here. Here are some of the spruces that I planted. I got a red pine back here. Here's one that's grown wild, but that I planted. We got some hazelnut, more spruces. So we've got a red pine, spruce, and hazelnut. And what this is planning for the future here. What I'm looking at is this to create a screen. And behind me, we've got plantation pine. And it's been thinned a couple times, and it's due for another cutting in about 4 years. But the plan is this fills in. We do a clear cut in here of about an acre or so, and then we can have blind locations on this side, and I've also planted a strip over that way. So we've got a couple different safe wind directions and blind locations that we can have screened in to hunt our food plot, and it'll be pretty low impact. I know this soil is going to be pretty acidic, and again, by knowing long term that this is my plan, I can start working on the liming of that too, and not be one of these where, well, I just got my soil tested, it calls for this much lime and I want to plant this year. Well, I'm going to pull a soil sample probably next year and then start doing the liming on that. So by the time these trees are gone, this will fill up, hopefully enough. I planted it pretty thick. And the other idea with the red pine that I have in here is that's going to grow quicker. But the idea, I got it planted in here pretty close. The idea is if I need to, if it's crowding out the spruce, I can cut those down, because the bottom branches, as you can see here, this is red pine, the bottom branches die if they don't get the sunlight. And with the hazelnut in there as well, that stuff will spread out over time. That can create a good screening as long as it's keeping the leaves for early season. But the long-term plan, and it is a long-term because the spruce doesn't grow that fast, is eventually this fills in, and I've got multiple rows of that staggered, that I can have a great stand location looking out into my food plot, easy access in and out, and be a low impact site. So it helps if you have a plan, and a 1-year plan, a 2-year plan, but a long-term plan. And this is one of the more what I consider long-term plans. And that's why you need to get this stuff started, your screening, when you're using that. I could use Egyptian wheat or some of these other screening blends, and that's also an option, but those are an annual, so you got to plant those every year, where this thing, I don't have to worry about, once it fills in, the snow knocking it down, planting it every year. Once it gets its roots established, not so concerned about drought, especially red pine. I mean, red pine grows really well here in the sand. So this is, a work in progress, and it's not going to be a fast progress, but someday I'll have a blind in this area and I'll be hunting in this spot.